In fact, Ukraine's drone attack deep inside Russia on Sunday leaves behind crucial questions. How will Russia respond? The audacious Ukrainian attacks targeted Russian bombers. All this while, Russia is closely assessing and maintaining a strategic silence. And our next report takes a closer look at the Russian nuclear power enshrined in its nuclear triad. Take a look.
Steel in the skies, fire beneath the oceans, thunder rolling on land. Russia's nuclear triad stands as a chilling reminder of the Cold War doctrine, now sharpened by 21st century modernization. This is not saber-rattling, it is Moscow's ultimate deterrent designed to endure the unthinkable. Russia's nuclear deterrent rests on a triad forged for maximum survivability. Land-based missiles, strategic bombers, and submarine-launched weapons, each capable of responding even if the others are destroyed. A nuclear triad refers to a country's ability to deliver nuclear weapons in 3 ways. Each arm of the triad is built on a simple principle: survivability. If one part is destroyed in a first strike, the other 2 can respond, ensuring mutual assured destruction. It's a brutal logic. If everyone can retaliate, no one strikes first. For Russia, this structure isn't merely theoretical. It's tested, deployed, and very much real. Russia has several long-range missiles at its disposal, including the Sarmat missile, called Satan by the West. Then there's Avangard missile, Yars, and Iskander missiles. The strategic missile forces command hundreds of these launchers spread across vast territory, always ready to respond within minutes. On the seas, Russia's Borei A-class submarines silently patrol the depths. Each is loaded with nuclear-tipped missiles capable of striking targets thousands of kilometers away. These stealthy giants form the backbone of Russia's second strike ability, nearly impossible to neutralize in a first wave of attack. This triad is not static, it's evolving. Moscow is actively upgrading its systems, integrating AI, hypersonic tech, and satellite communications. Russia boasts that its strategic forces can withstand even a nuclear first strike and still deliver a devastating counterattack. In the skies, the Tu-160M White Swan and Tu-95MS strategic bombers stand by with cruise missiles and nuclear payloads. These long-range heavyweights loiter in airspace, flexing deterrence through presence. Russia has the world's biggest nuclear arsenal. The US, with more than 5,000 nukes, comes a close second, followed by China, France, the UK, India, and Pakistan. Clearly, these weapons can unleash doomsday, something meant as a deterrent and never to be used again. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Ukraine has launched another daring strike, but this time the battleground is not land or sky, it is underwater. Ukraine Security Service carried out a precise underwater sabotage mission targeting the Crimean Bridge, a critical supply route connecting the Russian mainland to Crimea. Over 1,100 kilograms of explosives were placed beneath the surface and detonated near the structural pillars of that bridge. This was no spontaneous act. Ukrainian officials said it took months of planning and coordination, and this attack marks a fresh turning point in Ukraine's strategy. In fact, previous attacks on the bridge in 2022 and 2023 focused on visible infrastructure, but this time Ukraine went beneath the surface, literally. It's a calculated shift from direct attacks to underwater guerrilla-style attacks. Hitting Russia perhaps where it hurts the most, its military logistics. But this bridge is not just about steel and concrete. It's a symbol, a major one. In fact, the Russian president inaugurated the crucial bridge in the year 2018. For the Kremlin, this bridge represents territorial conquest and political dominance. For Ukraine, and its president, Volodymyr Zelensky, striking the bridge is a direct challenge to Vladimir Putin. The Crimean Peninsula, strategically placed in the Black Sea, has long been a point of contention back in 2014 as Ukraine reeled from a pro-democracy uprising that ousted the pro-Kremlin president. Russian forces moved swiftly and seized Crimea, and since then, Moscow has used Crimea as a launch pad for operations, particularly since the war broke out in 2022. Sevastopol, the peninsula's major port city, in fact, serves as the main hub for Russia's coveted Black Sea fleet. Control over this part means control over much of the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. Reiterating why Ukraine's repeated attacks on the Crimean bridge are more than tactical, they are symbolic. Historically, Crimea's status has been complex. In 1954, the Soviet leader transferred Crimea from the Russian Republic to the Ukrainian Republic, both part of the USSR at the time. After the Soviet collapse in 1991, Crimea became part of an independent Ukraine. But Russia never fully let go. Its naval presence in Sevastopol remained. And Crimea continued to house the Russian fleet until Moscow's full annexation. Even during the peace talks held in Turkey on Monday, the peninsula and other areas controlled by Russia became a main point of contention. Ukraine said it would not accept Russian terms that include surrendering large parts of territory or military limitations. This recent operation follows a wave of Ukrainian offensives. Just this Sunday, Ukrainian forces targeted Russian strategic bomber fleets, aircraft capable of delivering nuclear weapons. Just a few hours ago, Russia said Ukraine was behind Saturday's rail blasts in Bryansk region, which borders Ukraine. The blast led to a passenger train derailing, killing at least 7 people and wounding dozens more. Through these attacks, Kiev appears determined to undermine Russian strength. But what does this mean for the future, for the war? You see, Moscow is yet to issue a formal response to the latest bridge attack, but history suggests retaliation is coming, and likely not in measured doses. The question now is, what exactly will be the scope of that response? Last November, Russia fired the Orishnik, an intermediate-range missile with the nuclear capability, as a warning to Western nations, striking Ukraine's Dnipro. That same missile could re-enter the picture. Moscow and Minsk have now reportedly agreed to deploy these nuclear-capable missiles on Belarusian soil by the end of this year itself. So will Russia fast-track that deployment timeline as part of its broader response is the question, because Putin is likely to view such attacks as not just military strikes, but personal ones. He has responded against Ukraine with devastating force in the past, and with Russian pride bruised, especially after strikes to its air bases, and now this latest underwater attack, there is likely to be a significant retaliation. Ukraine has made its move. It was deliberate, strategic, symbolically powerful, but now it has to wait for Putin's next devastating move. How far is Putin and Russia willing to go? We will have to wait and watch for that answer. And we're staying on with news coming in from India, getting you the latest on the COVID-19 infections in the country. India continues to witness a fresh spike. India's active COVID caseload has crossed 4,000, touching the mark of 4,026, according to the Union Health Ministry data. 37 deaths have been reported due to the infection since January. A total of 65 new COVID-19 infections were recorded in the last 24 hours. Kerala remains the worst affected, with the highest number of active cases, followed by Maharashtra, Gujarat, Delhi, West Bengal. According to the data shared by the Health Ministry, Gujarat reported 59 new infections, followed by Karnataka with 58, West Bengal 41, and Tamil Nadu with 26 new cases. In fact, the northeastern state of Assam has also reported 1 new case in the last 24 hours. A total of 5 deaths were reported in the past 24 hours, mostly due to pre-existing health-related issues. In Kerala, An 80-year-old male succumbed to COVID-19. The individual was diagnosed with severe pneumonia and hypertension. Maharashtra reported 2 deaths. A 70-year-old female was diagnosed with diabetes mellitus and succumbed to COVID-19. Another 73-year-old female with similar conditions also succumbed to the infection. In Tamil Nadu, a 69-year-old female was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and Parkinson's disease. In West Bengal, a 43-year-old female succumbed to COVID-19. The woman was diagnosed with an acute kidney injury and suffered a septic shock. The overall rise in new cases has been sharp. Kerala, currently the worst hit state, accounts for 1,416 active cases, followed by Maharashtra with 494, Gujarat 397, Delhi 393, and West Bengal a total of 372 active cases. Other parts with rising numbers including Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan. Indian health officials have reassured the people not to panic as all medical infrastructure is in place, and experts have advised keeping symptoms like nasal congestion, nausea, gut problems and throat pain under observation. And we're shifting focus for now. Let's talk about Operation Synindur. India's indigenous weaponry did not just perform, it dominated. Homegrown systems like the BrahMos missile, Akash air defense, outclassed Pakistan's Chinese and Turkish imports, redefining the battlefield and showcasing India's strategic autonomy.
From the skies to command bunkers, Indian-made systems struck with precision, while Pakistan's China-supplied arms faltered under fire. Operation Synindur is a pivotal moment in military history. In response to the Pahalgam terror attack, India executed precision strikes deep inside Pakistani territory, targeting terrorist infrastructure. While Pakistan scrambled with its Chinese-built JF-17s and Chinese-made radars, the difference was clear. Imported hardware meant slower reaction time, poor interoperability, and an overwhelming lack of resilience. Weaponry should be tailor-made and used smartly to gain tactical advantage. On the other hand, India relied heavily on its own weaponry. At the heart of the Indian response was seamless integration. Every unit from Army to Air Force spoke the same tactical language, processed threats with the same software, and executed strikes with split-second clarity. It wasn't just about speed, it was about synchronization, a war rhythm composed and conducted on Indian soil, a fact asserted by the head of the Indian Armed Forces on how India changed its tactics to pummel Pakistan.
What I can say is, on 7th and the initial stages, there were losses, but the numbers, and that's not important. What was important is why did these losses occur and what did we do after that. So we rectified the tactics and then went back on 7th, 8th and 10th in large numbers to hit air bases deep inside Pakistan. Penetrated all their air defenses with impunity. Carried out precision strikes.
Operation Synindur underscores the efficacy of India's indigenous defense capabilities, marking a shift towards strategic self-reliance and setting a new precedent in military engagements. Bureau Report, WION World is One.